In this video, we're going to continue on with our banking app. And right now, this is the second part. You can see we have this nice design here, very straightforward with the menu bar, which is already built in from previously. And all what we're going to focus on is on this basic design here. So let's start and work on this. In this video, we will continue with our design. And right now we have our design here. This is from a previous video what we had, so make sure you watch part 1 where we had this design here, but I want to continue on and I would like to go to the bit more exciting part, which is when you're logged in and maybe you want to see your finances. And what we're going to do is we're going to explore here how we can display that. Imagine you're signed in. Once you click on sign in, and then you see here your financial matters. So that's what we're going to do. We will see here like our deductions, and more specifically I would like to be here really with the mobile version because this is the most exciting part. Alright, so let's start with that. So imagine here right now we are not anymore on sign in, but what we're going to be now is we are on login or sign. We're already signed in, so we should see here sign out. So sign out. Here, sign out as well. And once we save that, we refresh, and now if you see here, alright, that is fair. And then I see here still a icon here. Let's remove that one. There we are. Sign out, and then maybe what we have here is our basic bank savings account. Savings account. And then maybe we have a current account. Current account, and then we say here icon for, we can do USD, and it's another USD. Alright, so if you click on that, you can see here that would be probably not that recommended. Maybe current account savings, current account USD. That's alright for now. I would say here this should be maybe something else. Maybe here credit card icon. So we have no interference in our design. And once we open that, there you are. That looks slightly better. You have differerences. The most important part is that you have the differences so you understand. Alright, so we have this here. We are now logged in. We can sign out, or we're signed in and log and sign out. So most commonly, this is basically a topic as well. Should you use sign in or should you use log in? Well, you have sign in and sign out. That's very common. Usually you have log in and log out. However, sign in is becoming a more common term to use these days. All right. So what we have here now is we have this here, the toggle box, everything. This is except all fine. But now what we want to do is here we have the navigation here. All right. So we have a new section here coming, and this section will be basically our bank account details. So we say here new section, and this would be the class bank account. And then in here, basically we do a few things, because what I really want to do here is, if you're logged in here or sign in, what do you normally see? Well, you will see a few basics. First of all, you will know you will have your balance amount. Secondly, you might have a chart, but I think a chart is not that important. I think what's more important is to have specified which are incoming, which are outgoing expenses. Incoming receivables and outgoing payables, basically. Although these are not really official terms, but they are very clear in the mind of a person. If someone says receivables is everything what you receive, and payables is everything what you've paid. So basically funds you receive and pay. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to use some colors here. We can use here, I like to use within our branding color of pink. So we're going to use a branding color. But what we're going to do is we will use probably a green color. A green color is necessary here to indicate that we have received something. And what we can do here in the beginning is here to show the item. So what we're going to do here is we want to show here the funds amount, and here this can be a USD sign. And then here what we can do is, what we want to do is here is to basically this. We can say here bank account, or well, we can leave it this one like this, and then we put in here, let's say $9,000. And then what we have is here is a break, and below here you will have a span, and this span will say savings account. All right, so we are right now on the savings account, so it should amplify or specify this is the savings account. So once we save that here, refresh, all right, we want to push it to the center, but we want to blow up the numbers. So we want to increase these numbers. This could be increased, could be decreased depending on personal preferences. So, and then after that, what we can do here is we can create here probably a list item with items in here. So we say here, this will be an unordered list item. And this unordered list item, we can build our design of whatever it is. So we can say here this, and then we could say here, we can use some icons here as well, but let's say here groceries, grocery. All right, and then what we have as well is a payment of, let's say $20. We can do like this. There you are. And then here, and then we have to just reconsider what's the next item. So the next item would be maybe a salary, and then we have here that's $2,000, and then we have maybe something else. Let's say this is a YouTuber, so it's a YouTube ads, $4,000, and of course we have YouTube AdSense. So basically ads, this is a payable again, and this is $10,000. I'm just making stuff up here, as you might notice, and then we just put in your comma. All right, so we have these here, and what we really want to do is let's save this first, refresh, and start working on the design here. How will we present this? First of all, this here needs to be in a bigger space, full width, and have a lot of margin and padding around it. So let's do with that one first. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say this will be class balance, because this is our balance. It's the most important one. We can do a chart in here with chart.js. That will be fun as well. Let's see later on. What we're going to do here first is like this. Probably here groceries, and then I guess what we are missing here really is a specification on the date. Let's say 22 of May 2022. And we do this one here. Same here. Same here. So alright, so this can be 10 May. This is 15 May. This is 22 May. And this is, let's say, 30 May. Alright. Save this. Alright. Ignore that one. Alright, there we are. So we have this here now. It looks very straightforward, nothing fancy. All what we have to do first of all is, this will be the account, this is like a statement probably, so we can give the proper name statement. This is the statement where we indicate every transaction. Or maybe what's even better is the transaction or statement, and then this could be here eventually a transaction. So we say here class transaction, and we'll just copy this as well multiple times. And as you can see, we're using this section here, and this section is really covering the bank account, or specifically more the savings account of this account, covering the balance and the statement here. Let's start and work on this. So what we're going to do now is we're going here all down. We have here the mobile version and we have the item. What I'm going to do now is first I would like to work on the mobile version. So what are we going to do first? Let's look at this here. We have here this section with bank account. Let's make this, and we can probably make this full width here and full height. So we say here, we have a new item, we have section, and in this section is called class bank account, and here we will say width 100%, and height 100%. So let's see how that works. I'm not sure. I think we should maybe have this as a display flex. So once we have that here, you can see now they are all besides each other, although because of the flex. And do we need that? Well, maybe we can just make it a block in this case, because we just want to have full width here block. That's all right. And the only thing what we want to do here is once we're in the block, we want to pinpoint this one here, but we need some padding. So we say padding. Let's give this padding a 20 pixel. Save that. There you are. So now we have a 20 pixel padding, and now we can use the balance class. So we say within the section of bank account, and then we say here, our paragraph is the balance. So we say here paragraph dot balance class, and in here we're going to do the following. What we want to do here, should we give it a border? We can give this maybe a border here around, and we also give it a extra padding. So we say border, say solid 1 pixel, and then I will just say here the variable will be dash dash color, and then this will be color number 2, which is a slightly dark color. Alright, we have this here solid 1 pixel. Save that. There you are. We have that here done. Then what we can do here is a padding. Let's give this a padding 20 pixels. And then what we want to do as well is a border radius. Border radius around here. And then probably a margin, or at least margin bottom, to push this a bit more down. So we say here border padding, border radius, and our border radius can be 5 pixels. That's more than enough, which is identical to our button here. So if we refresh now, we have now this. There you are. So we can give this a margin bottom, 10 pixels. However, that doesn't matter so much. Later on we will have this as well. Alright, so we've got this now. Now what we need to know is the following. We're going to pinpoint the size of this, and I want to push that basically. Well, we can push it here or we can push it there, doesn't matter so much. What I want to do here is at least this should be blown up in proportion, or like in big proportions. The savings account, this font is okay, we can leave that in small font as well, but this dollar and the number here should be big. The number here will be bigger than the dollar on purpose. Alright, so to do this, I need to make sure we have here multiple spans. This will be span, and this must have a class. We will say total. Well, we can say total balance. That will make sense because it's a balance here, and then we have the total balance, and this will be the definition of it, and then we just keep that in span. So the balance itself should have small letters, but then we pinpoint specifically on the others. Alright, so the dollar sign will have a bigger size than the others. So we say here the following. We can say here, no, we can do it even in here. We can say your font size. Let's say this one is 15 pixels. And then let's remove that, save that, and refresh. Alright, oh, we could do this 16, or maybe we can do 20 pixels. Alright, that's fine. And then what we will do is we will say here in the section.bankaccount p.balance, and then specifically the span dot, what are the one we want to pinpoint, span dot total balance. Here we say font size. We can do this 30 pixels, save that. Balance, why is the span here not working? Did I save that? No, as you can see I didn't save that, so I'm going to press save. There you are. Let's give it still a nice color. There's a color, and the color will be the variable of the brand, which is dash dash CRL number 1, which is the pink color. Alright, so that looks nice. There you are. This might be maybe great, a small savings account, but we're going to put it small. So what I'm going to do here is another one, and this is basically almost similar to this, except this is just span, no specific item. It's a description. And here, well, we might leave this one. What I want to do here is I will put this, I'll move this. We say this one is 10 pixels. Font size, maybe hard to read, we can do this maybe 12 pixels, more than enough. Alright, so here, the reason why we're doing this is we want to emphasize this item only. So we have this here, this looks fine. Now we are ready to go with the next item here. Alright, so what we're going to do here is the following, is we're going to make sure that this is the unordered list, where we remove all of this, we will put it here properly, and we're going to put, probably we will convert it into a flex box. So how it will be is this, with the statement, there will be a line, a border line, every one of these items here. Alright, so let's start with that. So I'm going to copy this unordered list statement, ul.statement. Here first, display flex, flex box. And then we also, well, we can save this for now and let's see what happens. Alright, we're all here together, fair enough. And then what we can do is, we say here, column, or sorry, not column, we will say flex this direction. Then we say column because we want to make it a column eventually. Alright, so we're back to original, I guess. So we could maybe even convert this into a block, I guess, but it doesn't matter. So what we're going to do here is, and this is the most important one, we have the space between. So we have here, so we have to double check how we will do the space between within this. Well, that will probably be in the li. So what we're going to do here is border. And then we say, not only border, but border bottom. Solid 1 pixel. And then we can say here as well, var dash dash CRL number 2 for the black. Refresh. Alright, we can not do that here, we can do it in the other one. Let's go on the list item. So we say ul statement list item. And then list item is, if I'm not mistaken, the transaction. Alright. Not transaction. And then in here, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight them. And then probably what we need to do here is we need to give them a class where we can show them if it's a receivable or payable. Because right now, we will not be able to see if it's a paying. What we want to do is we want to give it a color green or red, depending on if it's going out or coming in. Alright, so that's what we need to do. Let's undo that one. And then here first, we say your border bottom. Then we say solid 1 pixel var for color dash dash CRL number 2. Save that. Alright, so we have this now. And then probably what we can do here is the following. It's list style. We can just do it as well here. List style none. I want to remove those disks. As you can see here, these disks are not suitable. There you are. So what we're going to do here is, I realize that we should have the date first and then we can do the specification here. Or basically the grocery, this, and then the date should be maybe part of the grocery part, or as you can see here together. So we have to see that one later on, what we're going to do with that. Because this would not make any sense, because normally in every bank account you see at the end the balance, and not here. Or at least not the balance, but you see the transaction amount here. So the transaction amount needs to move to the right side. So to do this, I'm going to put here a span. And we can give this a color later on. And this here, well, we just have to wait with that one. So we have here transaction, then we have another one here. It's another span. And the reason why I'm doing this spans here is basically for one reason, is we're going to put in here again a flex box to make these here in line. So that the one will be on one side, the other one will be on the other side. So let's do that one right now. So we say here, display flex. Alright, so once we do that, we're now together. That is correct right now. Why are we now together? You can see we have this and we have, oh sorry, not that one, I want the below this transaction. As you can see here, we have the transaction here. the transaction and the item. Did I save everything? Not yet, sorry. Save that one and then refresh. Alright, so you can see these two are now together, and this one of course goes somewhere else. So what I'm going to do here with that, I will probably put this down or remove that one, move it in here, and do the same with that. Well, let's see how that looks like. There you are. So these are together here. Probably this could be specified small, and then you can see that these are just one, as you can see here. So later on we could put it in the center. All right, so that's very important. So that's why we're using the flex. So I'm going to copy the others and reposition them as well. Let's put them in this one here. There you are. I think we can move this space here. All right, and this is a span. I realize that it's quite mess, sorry. I'm going to break down it so you can see it more clear, because even I have a hard time to understand what I'm doing right now because it's too hard to spot. Alright, so now you can see it more better. So we can do here span. We say this is salary. Alright, this one will be here. Then we say here another enter. Then we say closing span here. And this closing span later on we will specify with specific item here. So then we have this here. And then we have here another one. Another span. And this span will cover not only this, remove that one. I will have here span. This will be another span. So I can remove this space here. There we are. Go. Put in the break here. And finally, the last one. Wait, I just put this here. And then finally we have the last one, which is, I'll just copy this just for simplicity's sake. Put in here. Just add up these items here. That makes far more sense. YouTube. Alright, this was 10,000. And finally 30. Alright, we save this. Refresh. Now we have already a few things. Now it's time for our proper design here. So we say here the following. We can say here, let's not display justified content. So we're going to put it, we're going to horizontally align them, but I want this one on the left side and that one here on the right side. And then you probably figure out what we're going to do is we're going to do space between. When we save that, there you are. And now I'm just going to remove this inspector element. Now what I want to do, I want to put it in the center here, because this here right now is high. So we're going to do that by doing align items, and then we say center. So it's a vertical alignment here. Refresh, there you are. Now what we can do is we can start to assign them a certain design, basically. What I want to do here is, this is fine. We can maybe make this bold. The month here could be maybe smaller font size, but I want this one here definitely in a bigger font size. And I want it in the right color. So I say here, what we can do is here the span, this will be a class. Then we say here transaction amount. And then I say here green. For green class, because it will be a green or plus positive. And the other one will be red if it's a negative amount here, transaction. We could maybe do here minus 4,000. This will be red. There you are, green, that's plus, and then here minus. And then we have here 9,000, so I have to figure out how I get to that one. That should be basically whatever is in here. That makes far more sense. Alright, so we have this here. Well, I think I will just remove the negative numbers because it's kind of ridiculous or redundant if you use colors already. If you use colors, there's no need to do double here. So we say here red. Alright, transaction amount. These are two classes where we're going to pinpoint. Let's pinpoint them immediately. So in here, we're going to get basically this here. And then we say here, span class transaction amount. We don't need, and I repeat, we don't need to put in green or color here or that one, because that will be later on. Because if we will add that here, it will only pinpoint specific values here. That might be later on for if we will do the span transaction amount where we can pinpoint the color. Alright, so what we say here is the following. We say here font size Font size should be big here. I would say 30 pixels is probably too big, but 25 might be. Save that. There you are. That is maybe slightly too big. 22. Or let's do this on 20. I like this a bit more. Alright, 20 is fine. We might give this a slight padding and margin here, or padding at least top and bottom. So we say here on the list item, padding. And we say top and bottom, let's say 10 pixels. Left and right, do we need any pixels on there? Let's put on 0 for now. There you are, that looks far more nicer. This background color, I think we can make it slightly lighter. I'm going to make it slightly, or this border color, sorry. Border color will be lighter. So I would make this CCC. Save that. There you are. So that doesn't grab too much attention because this is not important for people to notice. They only need to figure out that this is a separator. So this is very important in design, that sometimes you need to use some contrasting color to highlight or remove the attention grabbing. Alright, so we've got this now. The next thing what we're going to do here is I'm going to copy this. And we can say here, but we can also do, I guess this would be fine as well. We don't have to make it that complicated anymore. And then we say here red. Then we say here color will be red. And then we have another one which is green, and then the color is green. As simple as that. Alright, save this, refresh. There you are. So now we have something already that starts to look quite nice. This here, we could also improve, and you can see here we have this span here with a very small font size, and I like that. I think we can maintain that font size there as well. So we say here the following in the groceries or the statement transaction item. We can say here font size 12 pixels. Alright, there you are. Now you can see this gets small, but the amount is big. The reason why is the amount is probably the most important one, and this grocery might be also quite important. So we might say, should we have this increased? Maybe. Well, let's double check here. Did we specify? We didn't specify here yet anything, but we could do this slightly bigger, but you probably figured out that you just have to assign a new class to that. Alright, so we've got this nice design here. This is really wonderful. And what we want to do now is, well, we have this here, we could add up. So imagine, well, if you would have, this is really a bank account, so you will not see here any add-on or declining of things. You cannot add up the things, but let's say you want to do that. We want to add up here button, and then it says decline. Or well, I think what's even more fun to do for now is just to do the JavaScript part, getting this here from these values here. How can we get these values? We can calculate all of this and how much would be the difference. So basically this would be 12,000, and then we go to 4 minus 4,000 would be 8,000, 8,000, and will be 7,980. So basically this, then it needs to be 7,980. Save that. And how would we be able to do this in a JavaScript? What we want to do is we want to connect them, that when we add up a new item, it should decline, but let's calculate based on what we have here. So that's a very useful one to explore. So how are we going to do this, or what are we going to do? Well, basically we need to use JavaScript for this, and I noticed that we have one tiny issue here, to one tiny matter, and that's this, because we have this hard-coded, and that's probably for the next video. We are going to soft code this, and then we can just make a nice button where you can click on it, you can see the transactions. Alright. So what we need to do here is we need to create a function, and what we want to do with this function is the following. We want to show the total balance in here. Basically this should be the total balance here, depending on whatever is in here. So for this we need to build an array, because this is an array of values that we need to get. So we say here constant, and this constant is, we can say total balance, and or not total balance, but transactions. Transactions, because this will cover all transactions. And this transactions equals, then we can put in here the values that we have. So we have no starting balance, so we don't know where we really started. However, just assume here we do just 20, comma, 2000, comma, 4000, comma, 10,000. And of course, these are maybe, we can even break this down, or we can just do a negative number here. For now, I will just make it simple to make it negative. So we have minus 20, then 2000, then minus 4000, and then we have 10,000. All right, so that's our transaction amounts, or every transaction has been recorded. So now we can say here, total balance. And in this total balance, basically we're going to do is the following. What do you want to say here? Total, comma, and then the number, or total, and then transaction could be as well, but it's basically a number. So what we're really going to do is we're going to calculate the total by adding up these here. So how will we do this? Then in here, we have to put in the following item, which is our class where we want to indicate it, which is the total balance. So we say here, total balance. Let's see here, total balance. Total balance. Oh, no, not really. We say here document dot query selector. We're going to search for the class name of total balance, and then we say here the following. This will be total balance equals the transactions dot reduce. So basically this is the array of transactions, and then reduce. So that will be the total, and then we have to make sure that of course this makes sense. Inner text. I was just thinking, what am I missing here? All right, this is the inner text, because what we want to do is here in the balance we want to update the total balance with the inner text of whatever our transaction array is. So how does this really work? Well, basically it's the following. Here we will say the following. We say here is the transaction reduced. All right, so I realized we can move this one maybe outside of here, indicating it here. This will get this transaction reduced total balance of inner text. All right, and then what we want here is, of course, how does this be returned? The return value will be total plus num. So then we'll get the transaction reduced, and then of this total balance here, that should work. All right, so once we have this here, this will almost work if we refresh. All right, doesn't work here yet, and the reason why it doesn't work is we need to put in this here where we trigger the item itself. If we save this now, refresh, there you are. So now we have the item here, and I'll be honest with you, this is still a chunk of code that we can fine tune as well. Now we'll have to look into this, how we can fine tune it. That will be in the next video where I cover this more deeper. We're going this, and what I really want to do eventually is that we put in a button here and we can click on it, and once we click on it, we add up a new item which will also be added in our transaction here, and then it starts to show here as well. And to do that, we're going to use one of the array functions of pushing a value in here. So that will be in the next part that we're going to cover. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy this video, you probably will enjoy this one as well. And if you're interested in Chart.js, check out in the description box the link directing to my Chart.js course where you can learn everything about Chart.js. And finally, of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel.